what was the difference between the way that we both and many of us recognized for years on our forums that people were like, man, if we just had liberal stuff to buy and I didn't have to give my money to I would just spend the money and support these people till the end of time. How did that go?
I would say that the difference between the number of people that say that they would spend money on a liberal firearms company if only one existed, and the number of people that'll actually whip out that debit card and buy one is quite large. It is quite large. There are a lot of people that talk a big game about supporting liberal gun causes, and I've not seen a lot of evidence about it. There are some, and the people that were supporters of Rocket Armory very much supported Rocket Armory. We had a lot of people from LGO Facebook. We had a lot of people from the Liberal Gun Club. I think we did 2 runs of special lowers for them with their logo on them. Very supportive. And some people outside of those 2 groups. But in general, I think there was a limited number of people that were ever really going to buy them. And I think that group of people bought them. And then that was kind of it.
Right. And so just to clarify for everybody, Rocket Armory is no more other than you're maintaining a basic skeletonized version of it for maybe some ideas in the future.
The website's still up for a while. I'm going to hold on to the domain registration just because I'm selfish that way. But we are closed for business.
It might phoenix into something else. We never know.
I'd like to see it.
But yeah, it'd be cool. But it's good to learn the lesson. And the lesson is there are a lot of highly motivated left of center people in the gun space online. And they say shit when they feel shit. They say, I'm going to do it. It would just be. But in the end, the actions don't match the sentiments. And my conclusion is you cannot accomplish anything special through an effort that includes a community of people who are that way. You can accomplish something special with people who do things, not with people who don't do things.
I've been thinking about this as well. And I do think that the internet in general has been very good for bringing people together. I don't know that it's been as successful in getting them to do things once they are together.
What is going on, everybody? 'Tis I, the enigma of the gun airwaves, Miyanovich, welcoming you to Season 3 of the Liberal Gun Owners Lens podcast, where unprecedented perspectives are packed into the cargo hold for the LGO Lens spaceship Voyagio.
That's fucking Italian.
Don't believe that evolution is possible with guns and public safety in America? It's already happening, y'all. Minds are evolving. Think guns versus public safety is the only game in town, do ya? Think culture war is the big boss, do ya? Then keep your ass in the past. Everyone else, all aboard! When you bought that AR-15, that was like 2015?
Ish.
So that's right around the money spot for when things started to heat up in America, and with liberals, Trump announces, and we see a huge wave of new desire to get into LGO Facebook. Is any of that hitting you at that time? Like maybe I need, it doesn't matter if it's the AR, but maybe I need some hardware because things are looking a little bit more tricky.
I don't think the AR was that. When I got into that, it was pre-Trump, and it was just, I think I need to have this around just in case. But then even once Trump got elected, I remember thinking, that's pretty fucked up. But I'm a straight white dude, and I'm not small. Like I'm a pretty big guy.
Yeah.
And so at that point, at least, I didn't feel like I was in danger, from the fash.
Right.
But as things kind of continued on, and we start to get to like maybe 2018 or 2019, and things had been getting kind of progressively worse. And then I think that's when I finally was like, you know what? if things were to get a little weird, I need to be able to protect myself, and maybe in a way that the AR isn't suited to do.
Right.
And then that's when I think that's around the time that I found LGO Facebook, just in looking and trying to find, because there's all manner of, if you just want gun content, the internet's awash with it, and has been for a while.
Yeah.
But it's full of chuds, and the last thing I want to do is, hear a bunch of racist, sexist shit when I just want to find out, do I want a Glock 19 or 17?
Right. It is really sometimes just that fucking simple.
Yeah.
There is just so much. I mean, I am using the non-PC term now a lot, but it is really retarded. Like, there's so much retarded shit online with guns. So if you could just have a place where you can just say, what do you guys think about the 19 versus the 17 without all of the horse shit, it's just nice. And, Liberal Gun Owners Facebook has that. It wasn't free to have that, like whatsoever. It was not free.
Yeah, and I never experienced a lot of the really bad time. Like, I was not in there early enough to have seen a lot of the really bad stuff.
Yeah.
I think you had already kind of cleaned house in there by the time I came along. So I have heard stories about how bad it was, and honestly, I don't know that I would have stuck around that long if it was still bad.
I didn't stick around the first two goes. I came in and was like, holy fuck, why even be a liberal, like, or associate in this space? This is fucking just as bad. So, yeah, I'm glad we have it now, of course. And, so what, you started this business called Rocket Armory.
Best roll mark in the industry.
Depends upon which batch.
Fair enough.
When did you go, okay, I'm going to start a fucking FFL 7 and start selling basically lowers, AR-15 lowers? Like, what drove you to that?
So it was right around the time with the whole Spikes Tactical thing, and the whole novelty roll mark thing that gets done, the Trump lowers and the build the wall lowers and stuff like that. It just seems silly to me, but I mean, it's mostly harmless. If you want to, I don't know, if you want a Trump logo on your lower, I think it's dumb as shit, because I don't think he's a very strong 2A proponent. But if that's what you want, fine. But like, in general, if I can avoid it, I don't want to spend my money on people whose politics I disagree with. Like, I think that's a basic desire, right? And there is this problem where with guns, the sweet spot, for lowers and affordable guns tends to also be kind of the sweet spot where there's that real derp going on, right? And you can spend a little more money, and if you spend more money, then the companies tend to get pretty apolitical, right? Yeah. Like, I have no idea what Colts, what their corporate opinion on transgender rights is,
sure,
right? Because they probably don't have one. They've got too many government contracts to even worry about shit like that, right? Whereas somebody like Spikes, they're out there, they're stirring the pot, they're trying to sell their stuff to the chuds, and that's what sells.
Yep.
And so it was just, I don't remember how many times I saw somebody post on the LGO Facebook page, oh, I wish there was some left-wing gun company or some liberal gun company that I could spend my money on. I would gladly spend my money with a company that aligned with my politics.
Yeah.
And after seeing enough of those, I started to wonder, I was like, well, how difficult is that? Like, how difficult is it to actually, manufacture AR-15s for a profit? How difficult is it to get your FFL? To even start that? And the short answer is remarkably fucking simple. There's nothing to it. There's absolutely nothing to it. You cut the ATF a check. They come out, they have a guy that comes out and talks to you, and next thing you know, you are licensed for, I think, 3 years to manufacture guns if you want to.
Yeah.
You know, I went through a couple of different, kind of phases once I decided that I wanted to do it. Obviously the first idea was like, oh, well, I'll just get a CNC mill, learn how to use it. And, I'll start buying, blank blocks of aluminum and milling my own shit. I don't have $20,000 to drop on a CNC mill, nor the time to go learn how to use it. So it became apparent pretty quickly that the way to do it was to go through a marking variance, which, for the people that don't understand, you can pay other companies to manufacture lower receivers for you. There's some extra paperwork involved in doing that. One thing that I was conscious of not wanting to do was, like, I didn't want to basically be taking some real shitty company and having them make lowers for me, right? Like, that didn't seem like that was really accomplishing anything. So I had to find, a machine shop that was at least apolitical, that I could work with. And I managed to do that. And yeah, so I mean, it's not a hard thing to start. I would say that it's a very difficult thing to keep going.
Yeah. What was the difference between the way that we both, and many of us, recognized for years on our forums that people were like, man, if we just had liberal stuff to buy and I didn't have to give my money to I would just spend the money and support these people till the end of time. How did that go?
I would say that the difference between the number of people that say that they would spend money on a liberal firearms company if only one existed, and the number of people that'll actually whip out that debit card and buy one is quite large. It is quite large. There are a lot of people that talk a big game about supporting liberal gun causes, and I have not seen a lot of evidence about it. There are some, and the people that were supporters of Rocket Armory very much supported Rocket Armory. We had a lot of people from LGO Facebook. We had a lot of people from the Liberal Gun Club. I think we did 2 runs of special lowers for them with their logo on them. Mm-hmm. Very supportive. And some people outside of those 2 groups. But in general, I think there was a limited number of people that were ever really going to buy them. And I think that group of people bought them. And then that was kind of it.
Right. Right. And so just to clarify for everybody, Rocket Armory is no more, other than you're maintaining a basic skeletonized version of it for maybe some ideas.
The website's still up for a while. I'm going to hold on to the domain registration just because I'm selfish that way. But yeah, we are closed for business.
It might phoenix into something else. We never know.
I'd like to see it.
But yeah, it'd be cool. But it's good to learn the lesson. And the lesson is there are a lot of highly motivated left of center people in the gun space online. And they say shit when they feel shit. They say, I'm going to do it. It would just be. But in the end, the actions don't match the sentiments. And my conclusion is you cannot accomplish anything special through an effort that includes a community of people who are that way. You can accomplish something special with people who do things, not with people who don't do things.
I've been thinking about this as well. And I do think that the internet in general has been very good for bringing people together. I don't know that it's been as successful in getting them to do things once they are together. I do think that there's something inherent about getting out and being amongst people, being face to face, that makes the doing of things happen. Yes. That just doesn't happen online, or at least not nearly as much.
Yes, it's very true. So for those people that are listening or listen to the podcast all the time, you know that this is my one giant gripe. There are so many examples. Well, first and foremost, there's an obvious need for liberal gun ownership to be well established and moving forward in the American gun reality. There's a giant need for it to be that way. And so it needs fuel to churn and to move forward. there's that, which is a thing. And then there's at least the online, very online section of liberal gun ownership or left of center gun ownership, which is most reflected in the talk a lot, don't do anything phenomenon. So this is why both Liberal Gun Club and liberal gun owners have their own version of being affected by this. The Liberal Gun Club, I would say probably less affected, but we have been majorly affected. So you can see there have been multiple businesses started, not just Rocket Armory. There have been other liberal gun businesses started, and they also had to shutter up and close down because of the lack of support. And these things were started because of years of talk that we observed and we tried. Yep. Right. So it is unfortunate, but I do not think that Rocket Armory or John Waltz doing something else is dead. I mean, we're not dead. Like I was thinking about this the other day when we were talking about your podcast, which we'll talk about soon. You and I are in the same space. We're not in a different space. We were in the space when you were developing Rocket Armory. I was there with you, and we had uncountable conversations and text messages about it. And we were in the development space as two people and helping the ideas to move forward. Well, we're still there. Like, we haven't left. You and I are still there, right? We're just now working on or talking about other ideas, right? You have another idea, and I'm there with you developing another idea. All I see it as we're trying ideas, and that one didn't work.
Yeah.
Well, we've got this other idea that maybe this one will work.
Yeah.
But this is the key to liberal gun owners, the phenomenon, the company. It just doesn't stop. Like, since I've taken control of it and got the right people to develop and be the network, it doesn't matter what kind of a hit it takes. It's just going to keep moving, right? And it's not something you can see or necessarily measure, or you're not going to read about it necessarily, maybe in a magazine, but on the grass on planet Earth, no matter what hits the submarine, John and I will keep going, what's a good idea? What's the next idea? Maybe it's not quite guns, or it's not, sort of. We just keep going. And I have that thing going on with a number of you, right? Something at some point is going to fucking catch. Yeah. Even bigger. So I'm not too worried about it, but certainly the gun space and, whatever it is, I've developed 6 different cool liberal gun owners targets. 2 of them didn't even have the term liberal gun owners on them, so you could put them at the range, so nobody went, "You're a liberal, what the fuck?" Right? For what we call the non-flag flyers, fucking crickets. If it's 25 cents too expensive, nobody buys them, right? I can make 100 announcements a year on Facebook, and nobody even just buys the most basic thing that you'll need anyway, and they won't do it. Yeah. So
yeah, I think that was I think that was the thing that maybe I didn't prepare people for, or that nobody quite understood, was like, you can want a gun from a liberal or a left-wing company, right? Mm-hmm. But at least the way things are today, you're not going to get it for the same price as an Anderson, right?
Right.
You're going to have to pay a little more, and sure. And not a lot more, but some more,
right?
And yeah, we've gotten some feedback that, like, yeah, man, love to get one of your lowers, but $80, nah.
Which is fucking ridiculous.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've told you before, I offered one of the first 30 LGO lowers from Rocket ever to somebody who I thought was fucking Johnny on the page, who talks like he's Johnny on the page still. And he said, no, I can't. That's too expensive. And that was a time where they were 70. We were offering them for 75. I think we started at
70. Yeah.
$70. And this dude is like on the internet showing pictures of himself doing liberal gun owner stuff.
Yeah.
And with his shirt off often. And going, fucking, I'm a liberal gun owner. Shirt off me. Fucking me. And then $70, a once in a lifetime historic lower. I offered only 30 to people. There's 30 of them. And I offered them to people. And he said, too expensive.
Brutal.
It's totally brutal. And there's more people like this in our community and in the fam than people would even fucking realize.
Yeah.
I realize the fash and the cons are so fucking retarded that I could never really party down with them, right? Because they just don't represent the worldview, man, that I think is the one. But at the same time, our fucking side can be almost as big of a joke. And it's so real.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately,
just to be clear, like, if you're a person out there that bought a Rocket Armory lower or bought one of the t-shirts or lower parts of like if you spent money at Rocket Armory, fucking thanks. I mean, that's more than 95% of the people do. And I am ridiculously grateful for every order that came in.
Yeah. The golden people.
Yeah. And it's just, I think the frustration that I had was that there weren't more people like that, because I genuinely believed that there were. I thought we were onto something big, and
based on
we
talk,
were
not. Based on numbers and talk, it's giant.
Yeah.
Based on numbers and talk, it could change the game. Legitimately, it's why I joke about Cheese Whiz. If these fucking cats could just not buy a can of Cheese Whiz or two every month, or not one, just minus one pack of cigarettes, and put it in towards us, it would be a totally different game. But they're just so immature or selfish or up their ass or whatever, they can't. And it's a morale and progress destroying dynamic. And so in order to get the progress, you need to know who are those derps and who are the golden people. And that's why I always say on this podcast, there's golden people out there. You cats know who you are, because I try to tell you, you're doing it. You're doing the best. You're contributing to LGO. You're contributing to LGC. You've supported Rocket. You try to support Will Hancock and Sapper Gentleman or whatever. You guys are the golden ones, and we honor you and recognize you. But when you go to the realm of we're all in this together and family, it's just not fucking real, people. It's not real. You want to keep up with the myth, and if it makes you feel good, fine. But it's just not good. I think I have the theory that, you had to struggle during COVID with a couple.
Oh, for sure.
A couple different major issues with manufacturers who did some fucking over there. And maybe it was intended, maybe it wasn't intended in some cases, but we've discussed this before. I think that if you aren't a known liberal entity, that you might have seen different results from eating those shit sandwiches.
I might have. I don't know that any of the people that we dealt with, I don't know that they went out of their way to fuck us on stuff, but I think being, kind of openly liberal on the website, I don't think it bought us any favors,
I had already noticed this kind of a thing being in the gun space, patches, shirts, whatever it was, that there was some kind of fuckery, low key fuckery going on there, because a lot of these companies are, at first I was still trying to figure out how to get patches from certain places where somebody's politics is not going to be involved. And I was trying to also support like other gun companies or like gun organizations or people that were gunny. But when you do that, I just think there was too much fuckery about people being liberals. And I know I talked to Ed Gardner from LGC about this. Like in 2011, they tried to do lowers, and it started off well, but then it just shit the bed. And his opinion was those cats had the same thing. They tried to do it to make money, and then they didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So they just kind of lost shit or pushed the deadline or whatever until it was not feasible anymore. But it's, people should recognize it's out there, man. I think it's probably getting less. I think we are moving into the era where these gun people the liberal gun ownership is here to stay, and you're going to have to contend with it and fucking support it one way or another.
Well, and it shouldn't matter, right? Like, I mean, that's capitalism, right? Bro, cut me that check. Like, I mean, the most important thing is that you're spending money in my business, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it should be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, I think for these bigger companies, they don't really give a rat's ass. And that era of like, it's only going to be certain people who think or look a certain way. Like, that's so fucking over. They're just now with center to left groups, gay groups, Asian groups, black groups, female groups. There's just millions and millions of dollars out there for the taking. So you want to be a fucking moron and not take it. Cool. But I think most bigger, substantial companies, or maybe some of the other smaller companies are gonna. Well, yeah, they're gonna take that business.
Yeah, I mean that's Aero Precision, right?
Yeah,
they're inexpensive enough to be, very popular. You got to spend a little bit more than you would other places and everything, but you get a good quality product. I don't know their stances on anything. I don't know that they've. I think the only thing even slightly dicey that they've done is I think they had a Rhodesian camo run of lowers at one point. I don't want that, but at the same time, like, I'm not seeing a whole lot of Trump ads from them, the way that I do from other companies whose email lists I'm on, who are, giving, 45 cents off for, our real president's birthday. Like, it's
fucking,
they're not that, so
I think our new litmus test, of course, if we were to do another gun company to try to find one of these manufacturers to help us out, would be, you get on the phone with the guy, and the first thing you say is, well, if we've got probably thousands of orders or hundreds of orders that could happen here. Our opinion, or our question for you is, what's your opinion on Erik Estrada? Because our first run of lowers are going to be Erik Estrada branded lowers.
Hell yeah.
I don't know how we're going to get permission from Erik Estrada for this idea, but
see, I'm it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. So I think we just roll with it, and we'll deal with the cease and desist later.
What do you think about Erik Estrada's ass? Right. Or we could have the rural version of that, which might be easier, which is, what do you think of shirtless John Schneider?
See, you keep going back to John Schneider, but I got to be honest, like, I thought Tom Wopat, a little thicker.
I know.
A little more approachable.
Yeah. Yeah. I think part of my issue there is the shit that went down with him. John Schneider has always stayed like a true blue guy, and Tom Wopat was a cokehead, a known cokehead, even up until a couple of years ago, and he got busted doing a play, and he was inappropriately touching a 14-year-old girl or something like that. So that's why I don't really go for the Tom Wopat.
I'm out.
I go for the John.
You've killed my Tom Wopat.
I just busted the Tom Wopat owner. Shirtless John Schneider and Erik Estrada might be the two new products from the next gun company we have. So look out there, people. You don't know the power. You don't know the power.
For people that don't know, go Google image search Erik Estrada chips. The uniform was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it was tight.
I am a mostly heterosexual man. That dude was hot.
Well, I don't want to. That's the problem, is you don't want to go and look at pictures now, because you might be disappointed. You need to look at the pictures from, what was the name? What was that shit they used to do, like Network of the Stars? They used to do the thing. They used to do swimming events and like athletic events. It would be like Adrian Zemed versus Scott Baio with Speedos on, and they're swimming. Yeah,
so that was Battle of the Network Stars. Yeah, and they would get like different teams from different shows to come together.
Yeah,
and do like Olympic events.
You need to get some Battle of the Network Stars images for Erik Estrada. Those are the images that you fucking want.
Man, that is a spicy Latino.
Yeah, a spicy boy. So what about we're podcasting, and at some point 2 years ago, you were like, dude, I got this idea for a podcast.
Yeah.
And you're finally there. You're
Yes.
You're recording episodes and editing and working on getting this thing going. What is the name of this podcast and what the fuck is going on?
So it is the Lo-Fi Left podcast. That's low with no W because letters are expensive. And yeah, the idea behind it was, I think it's fairly obvious that like what the podcast world needs is one more white dude's opinion, right? Like we need more Caucasians talking into microphones.
Absolutely.
No, it's more of kind of a way to just kind of get my thoughts out there. I have been going back to kind of my early 20s when I was in the Navy. Like I was a fairly conservative guy, right? And but in your 20s, at least, we're talking like 1990, being a conservative guy meant I wanted like lower taxes and wanted to maybe not have speed limits on the highways and stuff. Like it was all very small government type stuff. Right. I don't feel like, at least for me, there was a whole lot of anti-abortion or anti-immigrant stuff tied in that. Like I've always been a pro-choice guy, but like in general thought of myself as being kind of conservative or even a little libertarian-ish. And then just as I've gotten older, I've gone, I've kind of progressed even more and more to the left. And that's kind of the opposite of what a lot of people will tell you happens. A lot of people say that as you get older, you get more conservative. But as I've gotten older, I've kind of drifted more and more to the left. And, even, during the last few years, instead of even referring to myself as a liberal, I've started referring to myself as a leftist. I have gotten some pushback from that. And that's fine.
Truly.
But no, I just wanted to kind of like get it out there and kind of explore that idea. Like, what does it mean to call oneself a leftist? Like, what am I? Where do I fit on the political spectrum these days? And what does it look like to be a leftist? What does it mean to be a liberal, in today's world? And, I'm getting sucked into the same thing I did with Rocket Armory, starting a podcast, remarkably inexpensive. There's, you can do it with just the microphone on your computer. Shit, I think there's even some company they'll record a podcast off of your iPhone microphone, right? And do all the editing and uploading and everything. So it's like I've invested a little more money than that into it, into some hardware and stuff. But yeah, we're gonna kind of see where it goes. We're gonna figure out, what the hell am I? Maybe help some other people figure out what the hell they are, and we'll see where it goes.
And you say, and I've had a sneak peek listen into your first intro recording, and might talk a little baseball.
Yeah. Oh, we'll talk baseball. Yeah, we're gonna talk some baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a really great book that I'm very excited about, and it's from decades ago. But this guy wrote a book about baseball. Like ballpark design with a bend towards like ballparks in the urban environment and how they're meant to be kind of these collective areas that back in the 30s and 40s when baseball was really kind of hitting its prime, your ballpark was the place where everybody sort of congregated, and they were this very egalitarian kind of space, back before all of the the luxury boxes and things like that and everything. And you would have your wealthier people and your poor folks we're all kind of in this same place together, watching the same ballpark and everything. And it's really interesting. I'm excited to kind of dig into it and see what goes on there. So,
well, anytime you want to fucking chew the fat on baseball, dude.
Absolutely.
Or anything else, of course, I will be there for you. I'm looking forward to getting some of the people I have in my network for this podcast over to you talking about other things, because I think most all of them would be down.
I think so. I think it'd be great.
But you're gonna find like your own way, and you're gonna have curiosities about getting certain people on. You'll contact them and be like, "I've got this podcast. Do you want to be on?" That's sort of like part of the excitement is when you like land a bigger fish. Mm-hmm. You're like, "I didn't even think the dude was going to say yes, and he fucking said yes." That's part of the sort of the amazing journey with podcasting. So I'll let everybody know when you launch episode 1 on that.